We have amongst us teachers and parents and our senior staff, head counselors.
So weird going to get vaccinated. It's just the concept of going to a max vaccination site didn't exist 2 years ago.
But everyone was like so nice, right? It was
Yeah,
like,
we had to stay in the car
I
the entire
missed
time.
it.
AC was on. It was just a drive-through.
We did a drive-through vaccination.
What?
Real bougie.
I got vaccinated at Disneyland.
That's hard to do.
Was a princess giving you the jab?
No.
Disneyland is opening back up. You know, a lot of schools have switched from distance learning to hybrid education. Some schools are talking about coming back fully. And of course, things are constantly changing. We'd like to think that they're going to continue to move in a positive direction and things will continue to open up more and more.
Hi there. I'm Jason Poisson. I'm the executive director of the Jack and Buena Foundation, the foundation that brings you Camp Jack Hazard. And we just had an article in the newspaper that said day camps and summer camps that they are open to run this summer. So we have the state, the local, and then the federal, because we're on federal property, has said that they're going to acquiesce to whatever the local government says. A organization we're a part of, which is called the American Camping Association. They're the professional organization that comes in and checks all camps to make sure that they're running at a appropriate level of policies and procedures that meet health and safety guidelines across the United States. 100% of my staff are going to have the vaccine that are 16 and above. That's going to be the first mandate that we're going to have. The second one, before you can even get into the room and onto a bus, you have to do a health and medical screening where we check to see if you have lice and we go over all your meds. And now what we're going to do is you're going to have to come in with a negative test result that will give you access to getting on the bus that goes up to Camp Jack Hazard. And my counseling crews for each cabin will be responsible for 3 times a day taking temperatures and documenting them. And if we see any kind of change in those things over time, we'll immediately begin moving them down to our nurse who we'll have on site, and they will ascertain what we need to do. My program is going to have a registered nurse on site for the entire summer. Another strategy, we'll excuse half of the camp at a time to eat in the dining hall. This allows us to social distance in our dining hall.
All of our dance workshops, all the singing things are outdoors anyway, so it's much easier to spread out more naturally.
Just plan for overkill, because it's always like plan for the worst and hope for the best.
How might the bathroom situation be?
I would imagine there's just going to be extra attention paid to disinfecting and having some of your staff on bathroom and shower duty throughout the whole time we're there.
Yep. My staff for disinfecting those facilities 3 times a day.
I went up to Camp Jack Hazard this past summer in 2020. I went up and I volunteered for a little while to help manage the site, but I also went up with my family and rented out a cabin. And one of the things they had was just have a bunch of squirt bottles where after you use the bathroom, you wipe everything down. And that seemed to work really well. And that was particularly for my family, who's very hyper cautious about COVID, was really a relief to know that they have control over that kind of thing.
That's something we can definitely make happen again. Doug, on my side, I will have extra staff to be able to ensure that all of our facilities get washed more times a day than normal.
Yeah, and if they're also like little itty bitty campers we have, and we don't want them spraying them to handle it, we could also have counselors with wipes, or the counselors go in and spray it before they go in.
You could add in 2 to 5 minute buffer time on the different activities. Like we have a shower schedule, you could add 5 minutes per cabin and just allow the counselor to spray down and make sure everything's clean before the next group heads in.
One of the questions I get a lot from parents and a lot from my staff members and a lot from everybody really, mostly because it's kind of really, I think, on everyone's mind is, are you going to be expecting people to be wearing masks at camp? Places where we will be in close confines, such as the bus ride up the mountain, I'm going to request or require them to wear the disposable mask, which I will provide. Realistically, I think it's going to be very difficult for kids to wear those masks up at camp. It's very dry and it's going to be very dusty. And so kids are going to be pulling them off and or pulling them past their nose, which then loses the efficacy of even using the mask for any real purpose. So I'm not going to require masks at Camp Jack Hazard specifically. We will have all throughout camp, we have hand washing stations. We will have hand sanitizer dispensers at the dining halls, at every entrance at the dining hall, at the bathrooms, on every single cabin.
To me, it feels like it's the closest thing that we can get to a foolproof experience. Just to be clear, there's still risks involved, but we are really mitigating those.
And, you know, I mean, camp inherently is about, for our kids, is about engaging in risk. And whether my camp is, you know, doing the rock climbing and rappelling, or your camp is getting up in front of the group for the first time and singing a song or doing a dance, that's what makes our kids stronger. And it's funny, one of the things that, you know, the reason I'm taking the risk of trying to make this happen, make sure that this happens, is that our kids need to get out of their homes and they need to get out from under these screens. My youngest son is 13 years old and I'm worried about him. You know, I'm worried about his physical health as well as his social health. This program is going to be as safe as possible for my kids and for my staff, because I know that these kids need this right now.
Getting back to fresh air and sunlight and face-to-face interaction, getting off of your technology in a safe and nurturing environment, the foundation for what our camps are, is exactly what our kids need right now.
As a parent, I'm thinking that all sounds really good, and I don't think I would be concerned. And like I said, most of the people I'm speaking with are like, I don't care what I have to do, just, you know, put camp on, just get camp going.
I shared this with Doug when I was telling him about talking with parents, and they're like, I am really, really nervous. And I'm like, okay, well, so one of our first strategy is we're going to have our kids or all of our staff vaccinated. And they're like, awesome, can you take my kid for 3 weeks?
Right.
And you're like, you don't seem very nervous. They're like, no, it's great. No, I'm in. And I think part of it is that we see our kids and that we see them struggling in this situation. We need to get them into a place. And uCamps is really amazing at this. Something I really admire about your camps is how great your kids feel in a social environment and how supported they feel. And, you know, they need that right now.
All right, friends, I think we're done. Does everyone feel pretty good about what we covered and feel like we're moving in the right direction?
Heck yeah.
Absolutely.
Thanks, everybody.
Jason, thank you. Guys, thank you
No
for
problem.
everything.